And we have 10 bold predictions in the world of music. You're going to want to hear all 10. I got this article from Alan Cross of the Global News last night, just January 1st. He uploaded at 6:19 p.m. How specific is that? He's an international writer about the world of music, and we are going to read off his 10 predictions from Alan Cross and then give, most importantly, our thoughts and opinions and additional predictions to the world of music, because we know you care about it and we're going to entertain you with it. How awesome is that, Micah?
I'm very excited, and I have not read any of this. So,
And I've only skimmed it, so you're going to get real-time reaction.
Okay.
Prediction number 1 for music in 2024 is music will become even more fragmented than it already is. And what that means is the olden days, when our music was measured in record labels and radio and music magazines and record stores, that's going to go away even more. Everything is available to us all the time. There is no one place like the radio to get the music, and it's going to be very difficult to have consensus on what's good or who's big or who's hot or who's trendy because of all the fragmentation, everything being in small little tribes. Now check this out. 75% of all music consumed and streamed today is older than 2 years. So that that speaks to the fragmentation, that you can find your particular thing wherever you go, your particular vibe of music, and listen to stuff. You don't have to wait for the radio to put out something new. So anyway, prediction 1, music will become even more fragmented.
Yeah,
Micah, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a surefire 100, and I think it's a great thing if you're a smaller and mid-tier artist, and it's not as much of an exciting thing if you're a bigger artist. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think things are, we do love shows, and so it's kind of like a little grassrootsy a bit there. Like we're all going to end up, going out to casual shows and following along with smaller tier artists. I do think you're going to have to put out a lot of work though and figure out how to get your systems tight on that. Because if you're not dropping a lot of music, it's going to be hard to stay.
I wonder though if music and entertainment has always bound us as a society, and things we're already so fragmented together. Outside of Taylor Swift, I can't think of one music artist that we all sort of rally around. It's not like the old days when, this band dropped this new album.
Stones versus the Beatles.
Yeah, and you were waiting for that tour.
Yeah,
and you bought that shirt, and we all sort of
I think
rally
where the
around.
bonding will happen is genre specific.
Yes.
So like if I like bluegrass, you like bluegrass, we like bluegrass.
That's right.
Pop music, rap, hip hop. So I think what you're going to see is a lot of artists where I'm going to say, "Hey, have you heard this person?" I have no idea who they are. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to gain traction, but you also can gain traction, which is fun. So I think it's great.
Yeah, speaking of hard and difficult, prediction number 2 for music in 2024. The algorithms will continue to distort music. So bot farms, fake streams, poor enforcement and moderation of AI clones are just going to make things even more confusing and frustrating in the world of music. That's prediction 2.
And it's a real interesting one because, I really have to say, like, obviously I don't really love that that's happening because we just want to listen to artists and what artists are putting forward. But at the same time, I don't know. It's music still. That's a hard one. But yeah, it's going to be distorted.
So prediction number 3 for music in 2024, TikTok could be even more of a game changer in 2024. So the prediction is that TikTok is working on their own streaming platform to where not only can you listen to the music to a certain video clip you upload or create or watch, you will soon be able to listen to music, the full song, just as a streaming service similar to Spotify or Pandora.
I still have a theory, Darren. I'm sticking to this theory.
Let us know your TikTok theory, Mr. Micah.
I'm still sticking to this. This is my theory from last year. I don't think this is like this ain't Yeti material. Okay,
Yeti material.
Yeah. You'll see where I'm going. This isn't a conspiracy. I still feel very confident in this analysis.
Yes.
I believe that TikTok has and continues to be propped up by fake numbers because they figured out that we just desperately need people to chime in to what we're doing. And therefore, everyone flooded the market and started using TikTok. I continue to believe that, wow, TikTok is the number one consumed, and it doesn't change it. Be on TikTok. It's extremely valuable. That half of TikTok is fake, maybe more. And that it's just it's semi-level to most of the other social media platforms. Moving forward, I just wanted to give my conspiracy theory out there.
I will tell you this. We have a TikTok account called The Damn Music Show on TikTok and Music. And one of the artists I follow on there is Terry Clark, the country singer from the 90s, because I think she's cute and I love her music. We now have like 9 Terry Clarks that follow us. And they all claim to be Terry Clark. And you go to their page and they've got like 4 followers and it's like Terry Clark 094. Yeah. So that happens.
Something's fishy.
Quite a bit.
Something's fishy, but it's a great place for music. It has blown up a ton of music. It's a great outlet. I love social media in the use for building connectivity and sharing. I think it has many pitfalls. I think you have to be a little careful with social media. Just as from an artist to artist, it can be very hard to be dropping constantly on that. I'm very curious to see where TikTok goes. No surprise, music is kind of their number one. Like, music and videos go hand in hand on TikTok. It's what really pushed them into the stratosphere. I'm not surprised they're going to be combining this to allowing to monetize music, basically.
Well, speaking of combining, so prediction number 4 for music in 2024 is music streamers will have to consolidate eventually, meaning that there's so many streaming companies and there is so much fragmentation. They can't be all successful. So one of them is going to have to buy out the other one. The other one's going to have to buy out this one. And that's typically how entertainment media companies go, is that there's 6 or 7 that rise. Eventually they start to fall, and somebody's got to buy somebody else. So that is the next
we've
prediction.
got Spotify and Apple that are probably at the front of the thing, and Apple's dominant because their products, and they put the iPhone. So like more people have iPhones than anything, so they just
Apple's dominant because you can pay a flat fee and get every song ever recorded in the history of the planet. That's what I do. So I can be in my car and just say, Siri, play this song, and it'll play it right there.
What's your flat fee right now?
I think it's
$9.
No, I think it's even less than that. I want to say it's like $7.99 a month or something like that, or maybe it's $10
I think it
a
might
month.
be
But the whole family
gets
it's done to the Apple family plan, so $10 a month. But anyone in my family can listen to any song.
So that's pretty cool. And then you can just say specific, because I use Spotify mainly, and
or
then
you can
just
pick
say
a genre. You can just say, "Hey, play bluegrass," and it'll play modern bluegrass or old bluegrass.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of, and I think what was underestimated too. My wife jokes with me about this a lot too. She's like, "Nobody's on iCal," and I'm like, "No, I think you're underestimating this. Everyone has an iPhone, okay?" Like, and then we looked it up, and it actually turns out
iCal.
Yep, it turns out that iCal is actually the most consumed calendar,
Really?
and that
Over Google?
Yeah, that's what
wow.
blew us away, and it's actually by a long margin because of iPhones. Basically,
Yeah.
people got iPhones and they use iCal.
So if you're just joining us, this is Darren and Micah. We are going over the top 10 prediction for the world of music in 2024. Happy New Year's, everyone. So prediction number 5, the language of popular music will continue to evolve, which means that once upon a time, if you wanted to have a global hit, you had to sing in English. Not anymore. There's widespread availability of streaming music, songs that are free to play anywhere you want. Latin has exploded, K-pop everywhere, and it's only a matter of time before these hits emerge from India, China, and Africa.
Yeah.
So thanks to the internet and streaming, the language of popular music will continue to evolve. That is the next prediction.
Well, call me what you will out there. I could not be more pro this. And I've been pro this for forever. I studied Spanish in college. I traveled to many other countries. The barriers around the whole point of music is to help diminish barriers, create connectivity and understanding.
Which is why I'm worried about the fragmentation thing. But I agree with you.
Well, but this is part of fragmentation.
Yep.
This, like, having more languages hit the charts than English is fragmenting, and it is affecting. And I am so excited about it. I'm really looking forward to this. Darren, I'm curious how you feel on this. How do you feel about...
Oh, I think it's great. Anytime that you have a chance to expose culture, expose yourself to other cultures, it's great. I was lucky enough, when I was 19, I went and traveled in Europe for 1 month, and it completely changed my outlook for the rest of my
Yeah.
entire life. And so this is nothing but positive.
How do you
There's no negative.
feel about K-pop?
Oh, well, K-pop is awful, but not because it's from Korea, just because the music is horrible. All K-pop is bad. Lee's opinion is for Darren Dravitz only. Okay.
Generalization is what we call that.
Yes, that is. So, okay, so speaking, I don't know if this is generalization, but prediction number 6 for music in 2024 is the AI and music panic will subside. I'm not sure if I agree.
The AI in music panic.
Yeah,
will
the panic
subside.
about
No
AI
way. Not
impacting
a
music
chance.
will subside
Not
in
a chance.
this year.
It's going to
So
get
it's going
way
to take
more.
It's going to take several years, as this prediction goes, for the legalities and ethics of this new technology. But soon, according to Alan, the gentleman who wrote this, Alan Cross, that we will wonder how we ever lived without it, just like we did with synths, drum machines, and sampling. So the prediction is the panic will subside. I disagree with that in 2024. That feels like more like 2027.
I think he's super correct on that. It will become like a synth, and it will become like even this year. But the panic ain't going to stop. The panic is going to get worse and stronger. However, it'll be onboarded with everything, and we will be more excited about it as it helps basically just solve things faster that typically is tedious work. I mean, this is really exciting. I mean, as an artist, this is really exciting for me. Having my workflow go to where I could produce 5 songs a month to producing 20. That's awesome. Like, just crank it out.
Won't that cheapen what you do, though, too?
Well, no, because
what
I know how to
is
manipulate it.
Yeah, but people will say, oh, I know this is only going to take you an hour to do this or that, so I don't want to pay you.
See, I'm not worried about the income portion
I am,
of
because,
that.
see, people that buy a service, because I do marketing for a living, they get super confused on what the value of something is versus the time it takes to do it.
Yeah.
And we talk about all the time, just like musicians who say, oh, I wrote that song in 10 minutes. No, you didn't. You spent 20 years learning how to do it in 10 minutes. And AI and music, it's not like you're just going to open up your first AI and know how to do it seamlessly the first time you do it. You're going to have to invest a lot of time to figure out how to get what you want out of it. And people will not value your investment in time.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about that. I've always been good at, helping people understand value that I offer. Yeah. A really good example of this that I think really apparent for me, because I teach and I produce and I work with other people, is that, some of my songwriters, young and old, want to use ChatGPT, and I'm like, of course, let's do it. And then I see that they still can't finish songs, whereas I can finish a song in 5 minutes. Yeah. So if I go use ChatGPT, I can finish a song in 10 minutes because I basically write the song. I just fill gaps, whereas they're trying to get it to finish a song, and they don't know how to fill gaps. Now they're going to get better at it, but like, you can quickly tell, and anyone I teach and I'm around can quickly tell that I'm in charge of that bus. And being able to do it faster is just as impressive, if not as more than before. So I found it very interesting as we push into that I easily, and it's the same with, we're gonna do AI mixing, soon. Like, you have to still know how they function and things work so that you can get what you want.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just clicking a button and praying, and like, you're gonna hit that every once in a while.
Everyone I know, the best people that use Photoshop are people that grew up learning how to blend and dodge and burn in a real camera.
Right, they like really understand it.
Yes, they went into a dark room.
Yeah.
And I did that when I was in high school and college. I learned how to do those things with my hand by exposing light and a waving piece of paper over there. So I feel like I have an intrinsic understanding of what the end result
I have a bold prediction.
Yeah. Which is why Gen X are so much smarter than everyone else.
That's the old Seinfeld. I have a bold prediction here.
Micah's prediction.
People that have been real good at things, like a number of kind of mid-tier things, are actually going to catapult over the next 1 to 5 years, because they'll have the tools to control these things, and they're going to be able to.
I always tell people you're hiring the handyman, not the tools.
I mean, I'm really excited because, for myself and other artists like me, which is I have built a fully independent, recording setup.
Right.
As fast as I can produce songs with artists, I can produce songs. So I think it's going to be really fun. I think you're going to see, exactly what he talked about. You're going to see a disbursement. You're going to see a reduction, a little bit of what was the word that they used in the number 3 or number 2?
Fragmented?
Thank you. You're going to see a fragmentation, but you're going to see a fragmentation with people, a number of really, really talented artists that come back because they have better tools to help them support better systems without having to have a million things around them. So anyways, it'll be fun.
Fair enough. So we hope you're getting educated and opinionated on the top 10 predictions for music in 2024. We are at number 7, lucky number 7. However, it's an unlucky topic, but it's one I do think about from time to time. So many of our legends, particularly in the world of classic rock, are in their 70s and 80s. It's just a matter of time before these folks pass on. So the prediction is we will lose more beloved musicians, which is kind of a no-duh statement. But I get what this gentleman is trying to say because there are only so many Elton Johns and Bruce Springsteens and Rod Stewarts left from the classic rock era, at least, and other eras too. But how I would categorize it is those folks that came out in the 70s and 80s, it was more assumed that you would have a long career because you needed a long career to make good money in those days. And so now it's more likely that you can burn bright for 3 to 5 years and then have lifetime money after that. So my point is, in terms of legends, people that have been around a long time, they tend to stem from that time period. So anyway, yeah, be prepared for more of our many music legends moving on.
Yeah, that has a little bit of a twofold though. I've been saying this for 10 years, but it was about 10 years ago I said that I was thinking now would be about the time, and I'm just as convinced. In the 60s and in the 50s and 60s and 70s, we had very specific heroes. Well, now we're gonna have 60 Neil Youngs,
right?
And there's gonna be 100 Bob Dylans.
Yep.
And there's and I'm so excited about it. And they're all gonna be great, and they're all gonna offer something slightly different. And what you're gonna see them do is come together, and they're gonna join their fan bases. They're already sort of doing it. There's just not quite enough of them. There's not like
that is a prediction from Micah.
Yeah, you're gonna see these mini super groups that in theory are really just as great as in the past, and then each one of these people is going to have 1 million followers that are diehards and advocates. Right. And I'm, so if you have 100 Bob Dylans with 1 million fans each, you really have 100 million fans. They're just going to be dispersed amongst another one. They're all going to have their opinions about those people and follow them differently. I've been saying this for years. I'm really excited about it. It's happening right now, and good on it. Honestly, there was 100 back then. Just record labels supported one person, and you had to go to a studio, and everyone got behind it. There was all money behind one person, right. And they weren't going to spread it out against 100. Nothing's really changed, like of the amount of great artists. Even Bob Dylan, other people would tell you that. Like, there's 1 million great artists. But what has changed is the accessibility for artists to complete work a lot faster, market it, release it, and create their own fan bases through TikTok, social media, and Instagram. Yeah. So they're not controlled by record labels. So anyways,
I agree with that.
All these things go, and I'm ranting and raving.
That's right. We are going over the top 10.
It's our 30 minutes. So
that's right. It's speaking of which, we have about 5 or 6 more minutes. We have 3 more to get to. So prediction number 8 is we'll finally have music that sounds as good as what we had in the 70s. Now, he's talking about production because there was a time period of MP3s and CDs and things like that, and that music was not as well captured as in the 70s. But a few things need to be worked out, according to Alan Cross, including proper decoding hardware on phones, more bandwidth. But we've turned a corner, and when it comes back to proper high-fidelity music, that is on the rise. And so we're finally going to have better production because I guess we had a time where the production and playing of music was not as good.
That's right. I've been saying this for a long time, too. I have a really good friend I've produced music with for a long time. He always produced his music at 44.1 or 48. I always have recorded my music at 96. What that means is MP3s were keeping half the data. Okay, so now the example that we use for this, which is really cool, is like if you looked at the Mona Lisa from far away with half the data,
right,
it would look exactly like the Mona Lisa.
Yes.
If you go closer, you can see all the gaps. Now, here's what's interesting about this, because my buddy was like, well, yeah, but that doesn't change anything because it sounds just that good. I was like, wait until we're able to produce different listening headphones, setups, atmospheres, that we can actually hear things differently.
Just like when
Think
you go
about
to
it.
a high surround sound, you go to somebody's house and they've got one of those high surround Dolby home theaters. It
Yep.
sounds better. Movie theaters still sound better than your home system.
Oh,
Yeah, I
part
can
of
say
that
that
is-
as a guy who can barely hear.
Yeah.
I can tell a difference between good quality recording and product and output compared to low.
So think about like a TV that's now 4K. When that jump, remember like 1080p to 4K, and
Yeah.
you were like, "Whoa!" And then
Oh,
when you got
I
like a
remember,
fast refresh rate.
just regular analog TV to high def. I was blown away then. But now, the 2K, it's twice as good, right?
So it has twice as much data. It doesn't necessarily make it twice as
Dots per inch,
good. Yeah, and the dots per inch. And then what I think is,
which is twice as much data. That is what it is.
and then what he's saying too, which is really, really interesting, and I fully agree with this, is that in the 70s there was no digital. It was
Right.
all analog. So right now we have what's called audio to digital, and then it's converted back from digital to audio. It's called A to D, D to A. Well, those things are going to get better and smoother. Our gear is going to become more accessible, and we'll be able to have sounds that sound more analog and more authentic. Our technology will get better, and our ability to listen to it will get better. It's going to be exciting. It's a really exciting time to be a young, driven, you better be driven, artist, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody cares. It's going to be all you. But if you are a young, driven artist, there is a life for you, and there's a successful life for you. So I'm really excited about
So
it.
we're down to a couple of minutes. We got 2 more to go. So number 9 prediction for 2024 is we're going to may finally say enough is enough on the high ticket prices. Something Alan Cross calls funflation. The idea of spending more and more money on fun things because the world seems so crazy. And, it's a way of dealing with one existential crisis after another. But promoters and artists are starting to see rows and rows of empty seats, which I oddly enough, am happy about because the funflation and the ticket services stuff has gotten to the point of ridiculous. Yeah. I'm all for those people making money, but it's gotten out of control. So hopefully that has come down. We have just a couple more minutes, right? Oh, we have 7 more minutes? Mm-hmm. I'm rushing through this. Okay.
That's okay.
All right, so number 10. Well, this will be fun then.
But we'll circle back because we can talk about our break.
Number 10, according to Alan Cross, the 2024 music prediction, Micah, the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing will end badly, according to Alan Cross. Talk about marketing powerhouse. Kelce was already a star, whether the Tay-Tay people knew it or not. But anyway, he says that there's going to be a Tay-Tay backlash. You can't be as ubiquitous as Taylor Swift is now and do it forever. At some point, people will begin to tire of hearing and reading about her every day. It won't be the end of her, however. She's way too savvy when it comes to managing her career and surviving any downturn. But Taylor Mania, as we know it, will right now subside, and that'll be a nice break, according to Alan Cross.
Wait, so
take
Taylor
it up with him.
So 2 separate things. Travis Kelce and her are going to end poorly.
Yes.
And then
We
Taylor
will grow
Mania is
tired
going
of
to
her.
slow down.
Yes. She'll survive, but it's not going to, according to Alan Cross of Global News. So Swifties get upset with him.
You know what
me.
I think is I've realized is that you found this guy from that last segment.
No, I didn't.
You got marketed that
I
last
did
segment,
not.
and then
But
you
I was-
circle
I-
back to the whole list, and you're like, okay,
a little
well,
sparkle in
as
my
long
eye
as-
did kick off
as long as we agree.
when I read it, though.
Look, Travis and Taylor were probably not meant to be.
Really?
I mean, do you really think they were meant to be?
I
Darren?
don't know, but
Yeah.
it's so fun to talk about.
So enjoyable. I'm rooting for you both, Travis.
Me too.
And Taylor. However, just like Taylor, Travis Kelce's career will come to a halt this year as they don't make the Super Bowl.
I want to know, what are they going to do with all their free time when the season is over and her tour is over?
So
they're looking at each other every minute of the day, and they're not flying around the world doing fun exotic things. And now they're like,
I feel
pick
pretty-
up your socks. So if you're,
I feel
they
pretty
stick-
confident that both Taylor and Travis have plenty to do during the offseason from commercials and shoots. However, I do think that Taylor takes a breather after her tour.
Yeah, she better.
She's been dropping albums 24/7.
She's gonna be exhausted if she doesn't.
She probably is exhausted. However, I think she also is born for it and like just does it, and it's just what she knows, and it functions.
I think you know who's like that is Kenny Chesney. I think Kenny Chesney is constantly on tour.
Willie Nelson, man, just been doing it his whole life. He doesn't know how to
and
stop.
I think Kenny enjoys. Even he's not a young guy anymore. I think he enjoys that whole lifestyle, and I think Taylor does too. I think she enjoys working. I think she enjoys being on stage. I think she enjoys all that stuff. But I do wonder at some point, the newness runs off of every relationship, and they're going to get into the why are your socks on the floor, honey's phase and pick them up. And
well, the nice thing is that somebody's picking both those people's socks up for
that's
them.
true,
so,
but
but I see what you're
the
saying.
privacy of her home.
It's how much coffee. I've always said this forever. I've said this forever. There's one simple tool that you can know if you're meant to be with somebody for a long time.
Wow. All right, Michael Wagner and
ready?
his relationship advice.
One simple tool. Do you love having coffee and breakfast with them in the morning and listening to them talk?
What do you think Taylor and Travis talk about in the morning?
I don't think they've ever had breakfast, honestly. I'm not sure.
You know what? I would not be surprised to learn that.
Yeah. They're like, sorry, got to go to practice. But regardless, I really mean this, right? Because like everything else kind of fades. But if you like quality time with a person, you have a really good chance to hang out with them and stay with them. And I just know that's true. Anybody in my life that has stuck around, it's not the evenings as much as the other times in between. It's like, do I love just hearing what you have to say? Do I enjoy, having a meal with you and just hearing about your day?
Maybe Taylor's throwing fly patterns to him, out on the front yard.
I would please send me this video. If Taylor's throwing any football, I would love to see it. Well, Darren, we have 3 minutes left. I want you to tell me, did you get any Christmas presents this year?
Did I get any what?
Did you get any Christmas presents this year?
I'm wearing it right now. It's a T-shirt that says I don't feel tardy, which is what's funny about that is a couple of friends a lot of friends like to harass me because I think Van Hagar with Sammy Hagar is better than Van Halen with David Lee Roth. And I Don't Feel Tardy is from a very famous song of Van Halen, of which David Lee Roth uttered. It's Hot for Teacher. So that's what it is. I don't feel tardy. So I'm wearing my Christmas present right now.
I like it. I'm actually drinking out of mine.
I got one of those too.
Not a sponsor. Do you?
Yeah, not that. Well, I got one that size
and
shape or whatever, but yours is looking on some sort of launch pad. He's got some sort of... No, I guess I didn't get that. What is that?
So it's a heated coffee mug.
No, I did not get that.
So I don't have to I really like to drink only 1 cup of coffee a day, but I really dislike cold coffee.
Yeah.
So I was making like 2-3 cups, but only drinking half it and feeling super wasteful. Right. And so I was like, why don't I just get a heated mug and then I'll only have the 1 cup of coffee?
I didn't even know that was a thing, a heated mug.
145 degrees. You know what's cool too?
I thought you were going to say it was $145.
No, it was more expensive than that, which is why I've never bought it. I haven't bought it for 2 years.
Yeah.
It cost me, I won't lie, it cost me $200 and I kept not buying it because I was like, I can't spend that money.
Yeah.
But that's why Christmas.
Yeah.
And also like, I was wasting a decent amount of coffee, so that felt bad. I was like, I'll make that back.
You probably will within like 2 months.
Yeah, for sure. So, but what I think is really cool, though, is they're collecting my data and sending it to the man. But jokes aside, it actually keeps track of this in my Apple thing.
Yeah. Oh,
so I know how much coffee I drank.
Wow.
And it like tells me when I was done, and it's like, you drank this cup. And then it has like Micah's cup of Joe in there. So it's like, it tells me, I know I drank 5, ounces of coffee, plus I drank this much creamer. So I know the exact calories and the exact coffee.
And it's only a minute before the machines rise up. I'm watching a wonderful show right now called Murder at the Edge of the World, and it's on FX. You can watch it on Hulu. It's awesome, but a subtext of it is sort of artificial intelligence, robotics that learn from each other. I know it's going to come into play, but I mean, it's only a matter of time before your coffee mug turns on you, Micah.
Beep, boop, beep, beep, beep. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.